Welcome back to Whitt Acres. Today we're going to be sowing an herb garden in winter. Pops, we're completely covered up with snow out here, so we can't do much gardening outside. And it's also a little bit too cold to even get the cold frame started. We're not getting a lot of sunny days right now. The pond is still mostly covered here, and the waterfalls have quite the buildup on them. But you can still hear that water flowing underneath. Stay here, Maverick. Alright, I got a little interrupted there. My brother showed up and took Mav home. Pup, just me and you now. We're gonna get some herb seeds sown. Now, I've never done the winter sowing before, but it is a pretty common method, sowing seeds in a jug. Oh, the geyser. Gorgeous. There's a lot of ice buildup around that geyser. Once all this snow starts to melt, there's still gonna be a huge ice formation around the geyser for a while. But we're gonna be keeping this snow for at least another week before it even thinks about starting to melt. But that doesn't mean we can't start thinking about the new garden season. And I've been saving gallon water jugs for no particular reason, but I knew I'd find a project for them, and today we're gonna do that project. Pup, and if you guys remember, before we got all this snow, we took some bathtubs down to the vegetable garden and installed those for the new herb garden I'm planting this spring. Now, I am planning on spreading the herbs around the different gardens, but I wanted some container gardens for some of the more invasive species like mint, and I'm thinking we're gonna have a couple different types of mint. And for today's video, I picked out 13 different herbs that we're going to be sowing into the jugs. But first, we need to get the jugs ready for planting, and I did that earlier. So I'm going to throw you back, you guys get all caught up, and then we can start sowing some seeds. I've been saving these jugs for a while. Now they're gonna get put to a purpose. Come, Mav. You gonna help? You gonna help? Keep that tongue in your mouth, boy. Alright, we want to be about 3 inches up. We want some soil in here so it doesn't freeze as easy. Hey, and these plants are gonna be in here for a little while. Stop biting me, boy. Back it up. So we want to give them enough soil to grow it. Don't bump the camera. Hey, pup. Can you handle that? Handle that little one for me. Trying to do some work here. Back it up. Beep beep, suit suit. You too. Alright, we're gonna cut this open. We're gonna leave one corner for a hinge. No, no. Mine. No. Just like that. Just like that. And we're gonna make a few of these. I think we can start with 12. Not bad. Get some more bottom holes. Alright, we needed drainage holes too. All right, bud, that's 13. Huh. All right, that took a little bit longer than I thought. We're gonna have to close up the barn and then go in and sow some seeds. And it's gonna be a little bit more comfortable to work inside today. Huh, Pop, you ready to do some works? Come on. We'll be right back. All right, Pop, we finally got those chickens in. They did not want to go to bed tonight. Come on, there's still more work to do. All right, I have everything laid out here that we're going to be sowing today. We actually have 13 packets. I had to pick up some parsley today because I didn't have any lying around. Pop. You trying to help, Pup? Don't knock these over. You'll make a mess. Huh. This shouldn't take too long. But starting on the left here, we have the Big Italy parsley. Then we have chives, we have lemon balm, German chamomile, thyme, oregano, dill, sage, rosemary, catnip, hyssop, mountain mint, and peppermint. Now, I'm not trying to attract any cats to my garden, but all these herbs are also medicinal herbs. Pup, they're going to be good to have in the gardens. But most of these seeds, if not all of them, are very small seeds, so we're just going to try and put them on the top. Some of them actually need sunlight to germinate, but for the ones that want to be lightly covered, we have some vermiculite. And this is just a very light material that won't be too heavy for the tiny seeds. But we have our containers here, and it's pretty easy to sow these now that we have the domes on top. We can just hinge it back with that little tab that we left, and then we can sprinkle the seeds on top, and all this soil is pre-moistened, so that's definitely going to help. We'll just have to mist a little bit so we can have good contact with the seed and the soil. And then we will have to keep an eye on them so they don't go dry. Pup, but we're going to go ahead and sow all these seeds, and then we can set these jugs outside in the elements. Now, this is going to be a bit of an experiment because I haven't done this before, but hopefully we get something to sprout. Pup, that'll save some time on starting seeds in the spring. And there it is. We got all the jugs sown with our herb seeds and labeled. And to wet the seeds, I just sprayed down through the top to give them a little bit of moisture here to get going. And then I put all the lids back on very loose, so whenever the sun hits the bottles, the heat can still escape through the top. because essentially we made mini greenhouses. Now, a couple things to note. Since these are going to be exposed to the weather, they are going to have a lower germination rate, so we are going to sow these seeds heavily. And since we're sowing them heavily, once they come up, we might have to end up thinning them. I'm going to set all these outside, and tonight's low is going to be 14 degrees, so they're all probably going to freeze solid. But hopefully nature takes over and we have some green inside the bottles in the spring. And Pegasus is doing just fine over here. Bud. Alright guys, that's going to be all for this one. If you want to keep following along and see what happens, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit that like button before you leave and you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching. Good boy.